Hey guys, I'm Comire. The Nintendo Switch has recently turned 1 year old, and in that time, we've seen more games than Caesar's Palace. Big blockbuster AAA titles and small indie darlings on the TV, but also in the palm of your hand. You're watching Start and Select, and we're talking about the value of a handheld games console. An Xbox One, an arcade machine, and the red light district. What do they all have in common? Well, if you're gonna have fun with it, you're probably gonna need to stand in front of a screen first. You see, interacting through the TV has been a linchpin of video games, but for the last 30-ish years, gaming has found various audiences in the Game Boy to the N-Gage to smartphones. You see, Xbox Ones, arcade machines, and red lights, they might sound cool, but you'll probably have just as much fun doing it by hand. What makes a handheld games console worth your time over a home console? Well, the easy answer is they're portable. But hey, the Ouya was portable, and you can look up what happened to that hot mess. Not to mention home consoles aren't too far behind in regards to portability. A Steam account and all its games can be re-downloaded on any PC. Cloud saving lets you resume your Xbox and PlayStation game saves on whatever machine you sign into. Moving your games aren't that hard. And technically moving the console isn't either. They're making smaller Xboxes, slimmer PlayStations, hell, even the GameCube had a handle. So why not stick to playing games on the TV? Well, for one, if your dad decides he wants to watch his favourite film on his brand new 75-inch 4K Ultra HD QLED HAJK element of PTV, you're kinda stuffed. The Wii U tried to keep people playing when the TV was being used with its off-TV play feature, but it turns out people don't really want to play Bayonetta 2 while their dad watches Boogie Nights on DVD. Many people tend to spend most of their time at work or school, or in my case, backstage at a Chris Rock gig. Even if you wanted to play your home console, you're not even at home to do it half the time. With a handheld, you can play, complete, and move on to the next video game whenever and wherever you want. You're in control of the time and the space that you play. I've seen men with less control over their bowel movements. Becoming a victim of theft might be a bit of a worry, but that goes away a little bit when you realise that any mugger probably has an iPhone in his pocket worth more than the resale value of your PSP Go. I mean, keep your wits about you, but no one's risking jail time over a Nintendo 2DS. Generally speaking, handheld video game consoles are much more affordable than their home console counterparts. While a smartphone can cost anywhere between a night in a nice hotel and a night in a nice hotel with Cardi B, for the same price as a gaming PC, you can get a PS Vita or Nintendo 3DS and enough games to fill up Joseph's trashly coloured Dreamcoat over here. But I know what you're thinking. Going for the cheaper option normally means shoddier craftsmanship, less horsepower, and it's guaranteed to break down quicker than Taylor Swift's new relationship with anyone. Well, it's not true. The clamshell design of the Nintendo 3DS, which goes all the way back to the Game Boy Advance SP, was made to protect the system screen and buttons. As such, the Nintendo DS was tested so that it could survive a 5-foot fall 10 times without breaking. Heck, even before folding up, there's a Game Boy that survived an explosion that still works today. You should have seen it. It was pretty lit. Now, even the best handheld will never match the processor in a home console or the graphics card in a high-end PC. That'd be like asking Mrs. Hemsworth which of her sons she talks about first at the book club and expecting her to say Luke. But while handhelds may not overachieve, they definitely don't overextend either. Big AAA games nowadays often go for the full 4K 60 frames per second, but often fall to untrue upscaling and frame rate inconsistencies. Meanwhile, a 3DS is graphically halfway between the Wii and Wii U, and a Vita is almost on par with a PS3. Both running games at least a solid 30 frames. I mean, humans only need 12 frames a second to see fluid motion anyway, so demanding anything more is like James Bond complaining that he's only slept with one Russian spy in the last half hour. I mean, get over yourself, Daniel. But you know what? These are all practical positives. What about all the awesome stuff they can do? Apparently, at some point, it wasn't enough that a video game console played video games. Now they all come built in with a camera, music player, internet browser. You could buy movies for the PSP, and that was back in 2004. The original iPhone didn't come out till 2007. Of course, now smartphones can do everything, including video games. Nowadays, the kid isn't born into this world without their umbilical cord in one hand and tapping Clash of Clans on an iPhone 10 in the other. Most people's first introduction to a control scheme involves directional swipes, tapping and holding, and pinching a touchscreen. This intuitive interaction was popularized by the Nintendo DS with titles like The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass and The World Ends With You. And then creatively used further with the PS Vita's rear touchpad for games like Tearaway and Little Big Planet, as well as makeshift L&R buttons. But Sony gives the DualShock 4 a touchpad and Nintendo makes the Wii U gamepad, and it turns out they're less popular than Kevin Spacey at a YMCA. And we're still yet to see the best in two areas that handheld gaming does that home consoles don't. Location-based games, like Street Pass on the 3DS, which incentivizes travelling around with your console and then rewards you for it, like a kid getting a gold star for turning up to the egg and spoon race without his pants on his head. And augmented reality, games like Star Wars Jedi Challenges that try to immerse you in a real-life fantasy hybrid, that want to create new experiences and opportunities, to look inside of homes and peep on women. And when you get those two things working in tandem, you can get the perfect storm that was Pokemon Go. A game that, at the very least, would become responsible for more random hookups than the Kinect ever did. But, more than anything else, the real reason anyone should get a handheld gaming console is how well it works with a home console. The Nintendo DS and Wii and 3DS and Wii U, well, they were more intertwined than P. Diddy and overdue child support. You can connect a smartphone to an Xbox One or PlayStation 4 with an app and get a great experience out of that, or even a PS4 and a PS Vita with remote play. So, what do we have so far? Well, I'd say portability, durability, affordability, versatility, unique capabilities, and compatibility. I mean, you only got to ask yourself, how much more value do you need than that? Wait, what? What, it doesn't get Call of Duty? Oh, typical! So the Nintendo Switch has got a lot to live up to. I mean, I think it can do it, but do you think it can match the legacy handheld consoles have had up until now? I also want to know, what's your favourite game series that's mainly found on handhelds, and what's special about it? I'm hoping to get your comments involved in future videos, so drop me something good down below or chuck me a tweet. But, as always, I've been Comire, this has been Start and Select. Thank you, and good night. A walking friend zone and a pair of dungarees who continually inspired generations of platform games a dozen times over. Whereas Sega had Sonic the Hedgehog, a hyperactive blue Bart Simpson who continually inspired generations of furries.